Catherine Parr, last queen and wife of Henry VIII. Many of us know her for her nickname The Survivor or The One Who Won. But did she really had a victory, or maybe it was far-fetched? As you guessed, today we will talk about Catherine Parr, and I hope you see another side of this incredible woman. Before we start, I'm going to wish you a very happy new year, and I want to thank you for support that you give me. It really means a lot to me. And we begin with fact number 1. Catherine Parr came from a well-connected noble family. Her father, Sir Thomas Parr, served King Henry VIII, and her mother, Maud Green, was a lady-in-waiting to Queen Catherine of Aragon, who was Catherine Parr's godmother. Maud strongly supported Catherine's education, which helped shape her intelligence and confidence. Catherine had siblings, including William Parr, who became a powerful nobleman, and Anne Parr, who also served at court. And as we all know, Catherine had 2 husbands before marrying the king. Her first husband was Edward Borough, whom she married when she was very young. He died only a few years later, and the marriage produced no children. The second husband was John Neville, Lord Latimer, a much older man with 2 children from a previous marriage. During this marriage, she experienced political danger when the family was involved in the Pilgrimage of Grace, a major rebellion against King Henry VIII. These events helped Catherine develop strong leadership and survival skills. Fact number 2. Catherine Parr's survival at Henry VIII's court wasn't based on power or beauty, but on intelligence and emotional control. Historians like David Starkey say that Catherine used humility as a political weapon. She presented herself as obedient, modest, and respectful in order to protect herself. Her famous apology to Henry VIII during the heresy crisis wasn't a moment of fear, but a calculated performance, by claiming that her religious discussions were only meant to learn from the king. She removed any threat to his authority. This act went from a dangerous situation into one where Henry felt respected rather than challenged. After the last fact, we can move to another about Catherine's clear understanding of Henry VIII's greatest weaknesses. He needed to feel superior, especially intellectually. Several historians, including Lucy Wooding, argue that Queen survived because she never openly argued with the king as an equal. Even though she was highly educated, she always allowed Henry to believe that he was wiser and more knowledgeable. In a court where disagreement could be seen as rebellion, this strategy was essential. Catherine often led conversation by asking questions instead of giving opinions. This made Henry feel like a teacher rather than a student, while still allowing Catherine to influence his thinking. In my opinion, this is very similar to something Jane Seymour did. Both women knew how to handle Henry carefully. A further fact is that Catherine Parr made history by becoming the first Queen of England to publish a book under her own name. This was a bold and risky act, especially for a woman and even more for a queen, at a time when women were expected to be silent in religious matters. Her first published work, Prayers or Meditations, was written to help people develop a more personal relationship with God. Also, the book was carefully written to avoid open controversy. It clearly reflected Protestant ideas. Despite the danger, Catherine continued to write. Her second book, The Lamentation of a Sinner, published after Henry's death, was even more openly Protestant. This shows that her confidence grew once she was no longer under the king's control. Fact number 5. Catherine's marriage to the Thomas Seymour at first was happy. They met before Catherine became queen, probably at 1540s, and developed a quite romantic attachment during this period. After the king died, they didn't really waste their time and secretly married. Thomas's ambition may have played a role, as marriage to the former queen gave him status and access to power. Anyway, Catherine enjoyed personal freedom and companionship for the first time in her life, and Thomas seemed devoted. However, their household life quickly became complicated. Thomas was charming but impulsive. He often searched for attention and recognition at court. Things became even worse after Thomas's inappropriate behavior towards Princess Elizabeth. He reportedly flirted with her or acted in ways that were seen as improper. No guys, I'm telling you, I'm so sick of old assholes who think that they have rights to behave like that. Catherine tried to protect Elizabeth and manage Thomas's behavior, showing her intelligence and careful diplomacy even in her personal life. Another fact is that Catherine Parr had really good relationship with all Henry's children. With Princess Mary, Catherine helped encourage Henry to fully accept Mary back at court, showing both diplomacy and emotional intelligence. Historians like E. James described Catherine as stabilizing influence, helping Mary feel safer and more respected at court. Though they had different beliefs about England's church, they still kept talking. Catherine even named her daughter after Princess, showing love and respect towards her. With Princess Elizabeth, Catherine had a close relationship. They created mother-daughter bond. She supervised Elizabeth's education, making sure she studied languages, history, and religion, which would later help Elizabeth become a successful and wise queen. Queen also helped shape Prince Edward, the future Edward VI. She supported his education and encouraged him to read widely. Catherine believed in a strong moral and religious guidance for children. This is why Edward and Elizabeth had Protestant beliefs. Fact number 7. Catherine Parr is often forgotten because her life didn't end in dramatic or violent way. Unlike Anne Boleyn or Catherine Howard, she wasn't executed. Unlike Jane Seymour, she didn't die while still a queen. As a result, people often treat her as less important or less interesting person. On my opinion, we shouldn't underestimate this woman. Even though she was last wife, we simply can't say that she's lucky. During her marriage with King Henry, she lived in a great ideological danger. Her Protestant beliefs put her at serious risk during a time of strong religious conflict. She was formally accused of heresy, and documents for her arrest were prepared. Catherine saved herself not by denying her intelligence, but by presenting it in a way that protected Henry's authority. And the cherry on top, King became more suspicious. He screamed abuse and disrespect his subjects, and after having so many marriages, he became even more suspicious about his wives. So Catherine Parr had to live with that and always be one step ahead. Another fact is that Catherine Parr or Catherine Seymour had a daughter from her last husband. This might have been a moment of happiness, but also a dangerous time, as pregnancy in the 16th century carried serious health risks, especially when she was 36 years old. Also, Catherine was so devastated about Thomas's behavior, she had no strength at that time. Her health was failing, but in my opinion, she was happy at that time, because this child represented hope and new beginning in her life. Sadly, Catherine died in childbirth in 1548, ending the marriage after less than a year. Thomas was left a widower and within a year was executed for treason after his political schemes failed. Their daughter Mary Seymour became an orphan. Very little is known about her life after this. Historians believe that she may have died young. Also, the exact details are unclear. The last fact is that Queen Catherine Parr was buried in a Sedley castle. At first, her burial was respectful and dignified. She was laid to rest as a former Queen of England, and her funeral was notable because it was the first Protestant royal funeral in England, reflecting her religious beliefs. However, Catherine Parr's tomb didn't remain peaceful. During the English Civil War, Sedley Castle was badly damaged. Soldiers broke into the chapel and Catherine's tomb was vandalized. Her coffin was opened and her remains were disturbed not only once but 3 times. Her body was treated like a curiosity. Some people even took some of her parts. It wasn't until the 19th century Catherine finally received a proper respect. Her remains were buried in a restored tomb at Sedley Castle, and a new memorial was created in her honor. This tomb is the one that can be seen today. So in the end, we understand that Queen Catherine Parr wasn't just a survivor or less suffered one. She struggled with many things during her life and even after life. And for me, she still remains strong, intelligent, interesting person that serves as a role model on how to be yourself and believe in your own beliefs even when it's dangerous. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and found another side of Catherine Parr. Please like this video and subscribe on my channel. I'll be really happy. Anyway, have a good day and see you later, guys. Bye.